get this done really quickly, so I'm not going to be flying around with this that much. What is this? Why is this here? Page down, page down, page down, page down. Oh wow, he gave me 15 references to GitHub. Awesome. Copilot is being nice today. Alright, a lot of this I already know. I like how he gave me this. I already kind of knew about it, I just haven't used it that much. But I think I'm going to have to start implementing. I like the fact that you could set the location, because the way I was doing it in my C++ one, I was heavily relying, because I didn't know. Oh, and he threw in it in the compute shader. No, he didn't throw it in the compute shader. Sorry, but we can research that in a second. This is actually a nice idea. This we will borrow. I don't know when we're gonna have to implement it. Well, we could start with it. We could do a quick implementation. Let's see. One thing that I have to say is I don't have a math library, and in order to implement this, I'm just going to have to spaghetti code it. It's going to be a 2 vector for now. It could be a 3 vector for fun reasons. Okay, we do have to do sanity check here. Shader needs new projection matrix. Need a shoe. And do some time in there. Come on. Get attribute location. Configure. You just need to set the attribute location. I'm just going to pull out the variable real quick. We need to set. Why am I in here? Whenever we initialize shader, it should be inside of NNIT shader. It's around here somewhere. Get load shader. It's usually around here. So we're setting up another variable. We're going to need to do the same thing for the time and the click location and some button parameters later. Where does he declare this stupid variable? Go to declaration or usages. Oh, are you kidding me? No, the scroll bar is absolutely some British word. So now we gotta add it to the shader. I know that there's an error. It's not. We're working with shader 2 here. We have 3 definitions of shaders because I'm a madman. Oh no, I'm not really. Alright, so I gotta take a break. So this is how you add a uniform. We have to add uniform time. Mat 2. Should we make it a matrix or an XY? Well, I can convert it into a matrix. It's fine. I know how to do it. It's just in an R. That's what that is. Just imagine that being in memory. Just they're all after each other. That's really what it is. It's just C-based pointer math. Okay. That is excellent. What's the next thing we needed? We needed a button. the way. What do we need? We need to go to create models 5, start converting into update function, as create model 6 will be the derivative of that, or the next version. I forget what I used to call that. Damn, well, once I code in like another month worth of hours, I'll get all my vocabulary back. I've been on a long field trip or something. That's okay though. I got the physical health back from years ago. Alright, so this is where we're looking at. We're looking at start X, player GX, and we have to implement this correctly. So we're calculating these places. So this is a neat way to flip the player upside down by passing the parameters like this. That's just a feature, a bug feature of the matrix, because obviously and I believe one of these used to be this is how I find where the sprite is, because I couldn't find it because it was using clamp on the texture mapping parameters. That makes sense to people that know OpenGL. The people that don't know OpenGL, they think I'm nuts for whatever I just said. Okay, so we should implement the sprite finding version first. Let's do that. Let's fix that. Okay, new file. It's better to start with the header file. What did I call it in the other one? I know I misspelled it too, so. I'm going to keep the naming the same. Sorry for the Windows blop sound. Game character 2D, which is basically a sprite. But I wanted to keep that separate for being sane, and then later it should be wrapped, recoded, wrapped, re-engineered, whatever you call it. Okay, so first thing that I ran into is when you insert a C++ file, you must put it in here, or else CMake will not recognize it, and this is a part of Gradle. Gradle will use CMake to build it, and it'll blink it and shit. And I'm sorry, it will merge the library files and stuff, link the L files into the binary SO file. Yeah, so let's write the next part of the code. I'm not gonna write it individually because I'm just trying to save everybody's time, and I will explain it really fast as possible. Alright, so we need a string, include GLS3 and .3 for the for like GL float declaration, even though I didn't use it. So the way I declared it was, first I have my macro definitions like define, some static stuff, because usually you want to put those stuff up front, and so it starts out like the indices commented out, define an enemy start X, level start X, because that came from C++. So extern float player G X player Y. So there's going to be some externs. Extern float G underscore player X, extern G float underscore player Y. G float underscore enemy, and then these will turn into array, and then next turn G float enemy end, and next turn G player down key. There's actually going to be 4 of these. I could insert the other 2 or 3. I need to find my C++ app. So now I'm getting into the realm of double porting it, which means I'm kind of porting it off 2 places. So I need to go back and maybe tomorrow work on my PC version. PC version starting to look more like my JavaScript version. So I also wrote this in JavaScript HTML, meaning I didn't use the canvas. I used the HTML, so that it's actually like super old browser compatible, because I used like old school Java I mean JavaScript that I remembered from like coding crime and mafia wars and GNOME wars and ghetto wars and pimp wars, which was a JavaScript MySpace game that relied like on an open social type API when Facebook games used to be around. Then it ran on Facebook for a little bit, and then Facebook just dropped everybody, and they just said screw gamers and screw apps and screw everybody. Everybody's garbage. So this is kind of how you set up your little first 2D scroller. You get like global variables when the player jumps and he presses the key. Then you go into some kind of input event system, and then when the event happens on that input event system, keyboard down is a popular one, and keyboard up, and it just goes unsigned char key int x and y, because there's one for like shift, and then you just pass that into a variable. When the key is pressed, when key is equal to 83, it means you press the S key, and you can make it so it binds. But anyway, to be fair here, let's just copy paste our stuff. So we got it. Jump key up, jump key down, forward key up, forward key down, forward key down, key up, down key down, backward key up, backward key down, player key up, player up key. So there's up, like looking up like Sonic. You could jump and look up. So you could, it's more of a Sonic style. And I tried the new Sonic on iPhone. Did I like it or not? It felt surprisingly accurate. The touch controls sucked completely, but when I connected my Xbox Elite controller 2 or whatever, or 1, whatever, I could just Bluetooth into it, it automatically starts working. And then how it felt, did it feel like I was holding a Sega controller? Yes. Well, not really, because the Xbox Elite controller is obviously heavier because it's got metal inside of it, metal buttons, but it felt like I could use that still natural muscles, neurology, that what I had left from playing Sonic on the PlayStation 4 and Sonic on, not really, I can't really say Sega, it's been like way too long. But yeah, I mean, I was able to pass a lot of the special levels in Sonic Mania on PlayStation 4. And I mean, obviously the 2D scroller part of the game, I just like mastered it. Like, oh, okay, just go to the boss, beat him, get hypersonic, and after you get all the emeralds, it's like easy. I actually gotta watch some, or get Sonic Mania running on my PC and just play it on the Xbox controller. But that's just kind of alright, so we're pasting in the buttons. We pasted that in. And there's going to be one button that we're going to need to get rid of. Player down key down. Oh boy. We pasted a blob of blobs. I don't even know if I did this at this point. It's okay. We're just setting up our header file, then we'll just go into the file and we'll take care of we can always use replace all in a selection. We're literally setting up the guts of the guts here. The game controller, Like, once we have this set up, the only thing harder than this is the physics and the multiplayer. And that can come next. Well, there's also, you know, write a array marching, write a array marching shader. Since we're using sprites, they won't really work to array march on quads, but later on, the quads can be replaced by... Yeah, so it's just this project can have a really bright future. As long as there's a lot of consistency. You waste like an hour a day working on it. Some days might be a little longer. You need like 5-hour segments. Rarely will you need like those 2-day no sleep segments, but they help. I've coded my sources to Kmod, and a lot of the cool stuff I got done was usually done like like just pure coding a whole day, and this was using no AI. Alright, so I could also read the chat on the other computer. I don't have it open yet, but I will in a moment. I'm just looking at the array march shader for a second here. Let's see. Not too bad. Like the array march shader for fragment, it's only 2 pages long, and vertex shader doesn't need anything. And if you don't know what array marching looks like, it looks like thong shading, but a little better. Like basically your modern look. That's all it is. Just like, oh, know the name of the shader, go to shader toy, set your thing up, use the shader toy JavaScript website to rip the code off and translate it into OpenGL, and just plug it into your game. So you can literally take anything off there. But a lot of stuff off there is also generating the geometry within the fragment shader, kind of like I did with the quad UI. I used their same trick. And yeah, so you're processing the geometry generation right on the GPU, which is kind of how Source Engine works, and a lot of the other engines, they'll compile in this model. Like, it's like, why does it take so long when I go into Lumberyard and I import my 3D model, and then it has to do this thing and convert it to some really weird format, and then like the process, the asset manager sits there forever, like half an hour spitting out this thing, and I have to have a super fast computer to do it, because it's like compiling it into a shader. It's like stupid the way it does it. I mean, it's not stupid, but yeah, the way they have to make those Unity engines work is ridiculously dumb, because nobody wants to learn math. Alright, so we got a problem here. The problem is equals 0. We have to deprecate all this stuff. I'm just going to slowly do this while I do something else on my phone. Or I could quickly do it without holding my phone in my hand. Let's see. Repair device. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna. I knew it wasn't gonna work. It didn't work. Oh no, it did work. Oh no, it didn't work. I knew it was not gonna work. So what has to happen is you have to close this. Close it on the phone. And just like I have to do all this like IT support magic, or IT support suffering. Yes, I did fill out my ID 10T form today. I fill it out every day. It doesn't help me. Please donate to poor homeless IT programmers. Ugh. And it didn't work. Really? Really? I restarted everything and it's still... Yeah, it's refusing to work. It's funny. I love it. I need to get one of those gimbal devices, but I wanted to make my own, as being a hobbyist electrical engineer. Yes, my electrical engineer career has been ended because I don't have all my computer stuff I used to have. That's kind of good. It just shoots me right back into programming. Oh, good. I just went into scan the QR code, and it like, by double scanning the QR code, it like initialized the camera again, and it somehow got the object. That's wonderful. Wow. Okay, so what does this show? Oh, yeah, so my face is back online. Like anybody needs to see it, but whatever. It's just easier to see me talk. Okay, so we're setting up our little key variables. I know I could put these into an array. I so know, and then they can be passed in as a one uniform variable into the shader. But we're trying to learn here, kind of, and we can't have two of these. So we'll uncomment first extern int gplayer underscore down key down, and yeah, because there's a down key, and then you check if the down key is down, you get a variable named. Okay, I'm gonna have to just say it. Extern, you get a variable name that's named g underscore player down key down. When you read it inside your brain, or out loud, or in any way, you don't syndrome yourself. I had to say it. I don't know. It's not the first time this happened to me, that I've written a variable name named that. And it's just kind of like, I don't know, I'm pretty sure someone else ran into that same issue. Alright, so to the game, to our sprite, to our alpha sprite class, game character 2D. Game character 2D represents a NPC and player possible character. It's basically a sprite, so we'll need another one for a sprite. But in order to kind of distinguish the two, and because they're going to be converted into just quads anyway, and we're not going to bog down the CPU that much because we don't have that many quads yet, and the quads within the level and the player might as well be separated for now. Later they can be merged, but you're not going to get a ton of performance because the players, like, there's not going to be like more than 32 players probably. It's probably going to be like 2 or 3, maybe 4. So you can have a person playing, maybe you could Bluetooth 2 devices and play split screen. That would be like amazing, like petty hackery. I love petty hackery. That's why I love the Raspberry Pi Zero. But alright, enough of that talk. People will sentence me for that. Okay, so alright, so in the C++ file we declare a player, so a few player functions. We don't actually declare a class here because I decided to be more old school, C and struct and just functions. I just copy pasted out of the spaghetti code that I had over there in the C++ PC version. Is this commented out? Oh, what? How is it commented out? But how is this not getting an error in this one? But it's getting the error in the other one. Mysterious things here going on. I'm gonna have to look up the go to declaration or usage. Oh, it's inside the H. Yes, so inside the H we also declare, oh, okay, so the first line of game character 2D is going to be include, it's not going to be UBDCKYDE, this misspelled include tab game character 2D.h, and then that'll fix our define problems of this function. That's going to be later our update function, but this is a temporary solution. And this array of vertices can be mallocced later and just passed in instead of using that vector array thing that they use, which is my personal preference. Well, because of the memory leak issue, this might be a better version, or that might be. It's just like this goes onto the stack and that goes onto the heap, and it's just gonna work as long as you don't see, like, you could try it both ways. Just do an if-def and run perf and just be like, alright, it's the same, who cares? As long as it's like no memory leak. No memory leak by update function. It's like the main thing. If you don't have memory leaks in your update function, you'll be okay for the most part. You might have a memory leak here and there, and it's just when the device kills the program, they'll just take care of it. It's not a good way of thinking about it, but alright, so start X. Really, start X should be whatever we renamed start X from last time. And let's try to compile this. Why can't we compile this? Cradle files have been changed. Are you serious? Oh, we did change the Gradle file. We changed, since we changed cmakes.txt, we have to sync it, so not a big deal. It's not going to just completely turn a project into a trash can, because I didn't like try to do something gnarly, like insert into the library and not know how to compile it, which I'm still learning on how to add libraries. Which is okay. It's like easy. Just copy paste all the source code. That's the easiest way. Well, it's not the proper way. Okay, so G player down is not defined. So now what we have to do is we have to include game character 2D. So what I'm really showing you here is how to include your new H files, new C++ files. It's a really important step. It's so important because that's how you organize your code. It's by being able to do that. So this arrow will go away, this arrow will go away, this arrow will go away. Now here's where I'm really, it's like this. Confused. Oh yeah, I implemented this, but it doesn't work because it never changes. That's okay. Okay, so we gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with start X. I'm just gonna look at the other project for a second here and talk to myself. What I want to tell myself is like, am I gonna rename all this by hand, or am I just gonna copy paste the same math for this? Let's just keep this organized, right? Alright, let's do it the hard way. So we gotta take because really that's what I'm trying to show. Start X is really touch move start X because it's a better defined variable name. Start Y, but because I had such a small project in the first iteration of this, I was like, I need it to be named that because it just saves my hand carpal tunnel problems. That's what we're going to run into a lot, is naming conventions versus carpal tunnel. It's perfectly fine. If you're avoiding carpal tunnel by naming convention, that's okay. First I'll try to fix this, and I might not be successful completely, and then I'll include the H file. because so that's going to make the player move side to side. So because we're not using velocity here, no light physics yet. Yeah, that's why long names are bad. So you end up going off your own screen. And you gotta resize this, and it's all bad. Okay, so it's just minor. Who cares? Okay, start touch Y. Start touch Y. Start touch Y. Start touch Y. Now we gotta find where this was. Should be able to do it. Okay. This is really what I found out to be the correct something. Let's plug it in here. These are the correct player sprite coordinates. So this is going to need to go into a JSON file and be read out and do all these things, but save that for later. So this is the correct ones. Oh, they're already here. I'm sorry. And then where do we get the second ones? What is this defined? Go to declaration. All right. Yeah, these are the originals, I believe. And that's why they're like inside the. Yeah, they're inside the H files, so we don't want to declare those. And the other errors, so we'll just see. We're going to get all these errors, like, oh no. Error. Okay, so I messed up in my CMake file, pretty sure. I forgot to put .cpp. I am absolutely banned from coding now. How dare I forget to put a .cpp? And I consider myself as a mainline C++ programmer. But, okay. I'm more mainline PHP, just for by the amount of code I did. It's funny. It's like, oh, zillions lines of code in PHP and C++. I don't know, like 10,000 lines of PHP code probably a day before. Just like, why would you do that? Alright, so we know what our problem's going to be, but we want it to happen anyway. Okay, sync our project, but this is good. We're reiterating on common mistake. Anybody was going to make that mistake too, not just me. So before I had the same kind of issue. So we're going to look at their shader, because I know I'm going to fix it really fast. We just want it to fail. Okay, build successful. No, it's not. That's just the precompiled build. That's just the CMake build was successful. So it's stupid because it tells you build successful and the same character string as I wasn't supposed to get this error. I don't know what to do. Well, in this particular case, I left this error here on purpose. So I knew I was just gonna fix it like this. It's just easier sometimes to let it happen, and then just memorize it, and then go back and fix it like this. In a lot of cases, when you're in the middle of the night and you do this, you'll forget. Your brain will just be like out of memory. You can't do that anymore. But when you're nice and energized still. So I like went for a walk today. I just went, like, walked to the store. I was like, you know, driving there, wasting gas money. It's gonna take the same amount of time, and I get to watch YouTube videos and listen to them and like concentrate, not just sit at the computer all like agitated. It's really good to go for a walk to the store, because you just put on your Bluetooth headphones or do whatever you do, make reels or whatever, TikTok videos, and watch a few videos, and like you're good. Okay. Blah 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 blah. Why not work? I stupid code. Not good. Break this with hammer. Yeah, I missed using hammer. The source map editor. I actually used it today. It's really hard to use with Rest Desk though, or remote desktop. It just doesn't work. You can't remotely make hammer maps. You have to make them on your computer. It's the funny thing about hammer. Okay, so what does it not like? There's a comma. Everything's fine. Okay, it takes it a minute to like sense the IntelliSense. Okay, now we're gonna get the other errors because we didn't declare. Oh, we got some other gnarly, just stupid little BS. The constructor has no matching analyzation of shader. Sorry. Who cares? Who cares if I wrote the constructor wrong? Even though it seems like magic of what I did. I should have explained it. Okay, so I'm going to explain it now then. So when shader gets called, when I added this about 15 minutes ago, when we started the video, kind of like 5 minutes after we started, when shader calls load shader, it will pass in stuff into the shader constructor. Where's the shader constructor? Come on, where's the new shader? And I already passed it in. So I had to create that variable, go back and like do it all backwards. Completely backwards. Insanely backwards to the point where like if you try to explain this, you're like, oh, like how do I explain it? I have to go backwards and then backwards again. Doesn't make any sense. So yeah, so in the shader constructor, there's the uniforms being passed in, which is really hard to explain because the uniforms are later going to go into the, I want to say fragment. It goes first into the vertex shader, then the fragment shader, or whichever shader. It can go into one or the other, or perhaps maybe both. I'm not sure. But it finds the location. No, I don't think it goes into both, but depending on the name, it'll go into that one. Because it has to get one location, because there's only one location in the pointer, or in the int, which is just like its index designated address. If that makes any sense. So it has like a number. It's like, okay, this number is this address. It's not necessarily pointer, but it's a pointer to a pointer by an index. That's how uniforms and the get attribute location functionality works. They have to have this like pointer API in order for it to be like all the same for all the video cards. Alright, so I can't find it. Whatever. It's where get unit form. Yeah, it's wherever this is. So it's inside shader.c++, and when it's doing load shader, it's a static method, right? So this method is literally creating itself, and it's passing it back. Because shader's a class, right? So this part of the class code is actually not like, when you put it into C or assembler, it's basically not a class of itself. It is a thing that creates the class in a special way by using a static, just some static void function, but having the pointer return type and a shader as the class name, then colon function name, and the return type of shader. Very kind of I have a word for it. Synonymous, but different, meaning different things. Synonymous and anonymous, oxymoronish kind of. Alright, so this is what I was going to say. Okay, it gets the uniformification once the shader is compiled, right? Because you go in and you attach the shader gets compiled. It gets compiled in this load function. This load function does this. It just goes, oh, okay, this is the string. This is the shader type. So run it through the video card. Get the compiled shader back. Spin it back into the shader loader. The shader loader takes it. Takes the two shaders compiled, links them to the program, compiles the program, or links the program to the program, and then gets the program info log, make sure the shader didn't like mess up, and then gets the uniform variables out. Attribute location for the position, the UV coordinates, which are two vertex arrays, then the projection matrix, which is a uniform, and then the scroll location, which is a uniform vector 2. The projection matrix, it's usually vec4 or a matrix 4. Sorry, matrix 4, not a vec4. That's important to distinguish the two. Position attribute, and then we're going to add a time. We're also going to add a time, so let's see how that works. Because we already have the time in this one. I'm just going to copy paste it in. And I will have to... I will just show... So here, this is how we set it. So once we have that time location, we're going to set it to utime. Utime is going to be using Chrome time, which might be recoded for the lower APIs. Sure, it is. So, which line of code is this on? 57. Yeah, so Control G is usually go to line. And then on line 55 on the other version of my little scroller game, G int utime on u underscore time location equals get uniform location curly round bracket program comma itime. Itime is actually a float. It's not an integer, but I forget what the I stands for or something. Oh, never mind. Whatever it stands for. So, I don't know if I should add it now because it's. I just want it to compile now, and we'll add it right after it compiles. But we will take note, and we will do it like this, because then we have to go and put it into the constructor, put another function for it, do all these things, and all we really want to do is get our button to work for now, and we've been wasting a lot of time just explaining uniform variables, and we will still be adding more uniform variables. Okay, so let's compile our code. Now we got our beautiful non-updating, updating create models 5 function. Some other functions we don't use, and oh no. This global player X is not declared of unidentified player X. So now we get to see the real magic. This is what I was waiting for. So let's just cheat. So do it. Whenever you know that there's an include file that you've typed before, always copy paste it. Save yourself a lot of time. Natural thing. So I typed in pound include quote game character 2d.h into render.c++, and I fixed all the errors immediately because I had all the variables in there, and it runs. Okay. Now let's record our successful success. I have it now set up to where I'm recording off the USB, not off the Wi-Fi. I need to set up the Wi-Fi. It errored out. It did the same thing you saw the Camel Studio does. It does the same thing on Android. The technology is flawed on both through Bluetooth and through Wi-Fi, and it's terrible. Alright, so this is the app running. I'm recording it. You can't see. And we can't see the character because we never added him. Boo-hoo. I screwed up. Maybe he's behind this wall thing. Here, I'm going to show. Once I pull it off the device, it'll be apparent what happened. Alright, pull video 22 off, and you can see what we compiled. Alright, so then I touch the screen, and what will happen is I forgot to render the character, but the buttons should now work. Oh, we weren't watching catalog. That's another thing. So catalog works. Okay, good. Everything's working like that. I have to fix something. I don't know why it's just rendering this other quad. This is what the device is showing. Just don't have a way to like have it stand. Maybe I do. Xbox controller power. It's heavy. It's good. So yes, it holds the camera. So I do have a 3D printed thing. Somebody threw away my other one. I have to just 3D print another one. I 3D printed a holder. Let's zoom out a little bit here. Yeah, perfect. Because on mine, actually on mine, on the screen it looks zoomed out. Oh yeah, that's fine. You just can't see the top corner. Frame rate mismatch. Your face is a frame rate mismatch. Okay. The only problem I can foresee is that this is not being called. No, that's not the only problem I can foresee. Yep, I was right about that one. Okay, fix that. Let's just rerun it. Can we make this bigger? No, you can't see the top. And if we flip the camera sideways, we can. Is that possible? Is it possible to do this? No, it's stupid to do that because it's not right side up. It's dumb because one way to do it is like this. Alright. If I drop all these three components, is bad. The code slowly. Alright, so I still don't have the character. That's fine though. This camera on phone action thing. He is being drawn, and it's drawing the debug version, the sprite cutter. See how I'm able to cut out the sprites? It's just we have whatever blob thing in the way of it. And what we'll do first off is we'll just move the layer up front. And then we'll figure out what that layer is. I believe it's this mouse position 2 thing there at Majigger. And we'll have to fix this mouse position 2 and make that work too. Because I need a second debugger. So this is the layer. And mouse position is always on front. So let's draw a player on top of everything. Later we'll have enemy too. I don't know if we'll do that today or times at 10:22. Well, we should do it tomorrow. Alright, let's restart our thing. And then we'll fix the player, and I think he should move. Alrighty. Yeah, so you see the purple block is moving? That's our player. Let's just make him look right by cutting him out right. So we could use the orientation. Later I'll do a video on flipping the texture correctly by using a for loop, by actually manipulating the actual bytes of the bitmap. And what I'm going to do, if you look at my screen, I'm just going to copy the pointer coordinates. I already know what they are, but I'm showing you the process that I went through. This is what I had to suffer through. It's like, why isn't it working? Why isn't it working? But the thing is, it's not right anyway, because, you know why? Because it's still flipped. So we know we're there. Use the orientation of the image to kind of figure it out. Why is it purple though? What does purple mean? Purple means either out of bounds. So he should be around here. Like, where's all the other stuff? Or we might not be able to generate those coordinates like this. Oh no, no, we generate something right there. We generate the other thing, but I can't see. I can't see like that. That's funny. That's so funny. We might have to flip it or something. We don't have enough coordination. I don't know. I saw some kind of little guy. This one, it's like right on top of it. Yeah. Oh, it'll switch it if I click here. That's funny. So you have to record whatever it was. So what you do. So we wanted fat guy number 2. That way, even if you chop or climb to edge, you could still get it to work by having the file. Instead of using the paintbrush and doing it that way, we do it this way too. And so his coordinates are, because we've normalized them in some sort of fashion, they're touch start move x equals that, and his offset is 0.05 or something. So So we have to define, well, we'll use defines later. We could throw it into variables, or we could just throw it into variables now. Just do this. It's equal to, it's not 0. We use the mouse coordinate into the normal coordinate and just like into the UV coordinate. That's how we did this. It's just like a stupid like programming trick. So the end, yeah, so we just give it that. And guess what? I think we'll be done. It should be actually 0. That's way too close to 0. I'll just put 0. We'll just sanely figure that out. Logically. It's not supposed to be like this in all caps. So we will kind of conform to notation style of something. I do want to keep the cutting thing though. So we're gonna have to do something about that. We will keep a cutter around, but we just won't have it initialize right now. It's called player 2. Start X and UV, yes. See how this is vector 2? So vector 2, so we could have declared the map offset as vector 2 and recycled that type of naming convention. We'll fix that in the next video. Just, this is not the way I wanted to do this. Just take this. So get a cutter for later. We have to. Oh man. It's not a big deal. Let's fix this. Yeah, if your C and V key get old fast, it's okay. They probably won't. Okay, so let's see. The player 2 vertices, which is bad to call this player 2 because it's actually main player and it's already still single player. There's no tails yet. And this position 2 thing we gotta get rid of. Well, we're drawing on top of it. There, so yeah, it's a little buggy with that. So we got him moving. Now we gotta figure out where this button presses. The green button. And it will be, these look, I'm going to take the one that's averaged out more. It's kind of like over here. That's where we're pressing the button, negative coordinates. Alright. I still don't want to do this in the renderer or the input function. But I guess we're going to have to. We're gonna pass in time. This actually is the up button, not the jump button. Because X should be the jump button. But we could just temporarily make it the jump button because we've tried to make this quick as possible. If start X or it's less than. We have to do it inside the input function, I believe, for another insane reason. No, where does it detect that? Oh, right here. This is like the update interval function in the PC version. Set the lower part of the quad. How much? Okay, so this goes like 6 units. 6 units. No, 30 units, 15. Four zero. Stupid way of doing it, but whatever. Oops. Alright. It's greater than negative 15, 20, 26. I'm doing the math in my head. Okay, so I just know that they're separated by 0.30, so I'm just taking half of that and just adding it to this number to touch start X move where we touched. So I figured that out, but this is a bad way of doing it. You need to use like linear motion or something, the editor, because this is pretty accurate. It's accurate right here, but it's not accurate inside the shader right now. But it could be fixed later. It's gonna be a nice one to fix that one, but okay. Start touch move less than so this is by 30, 15, so whatever this is, subtract by 15, so negative 0.01 and greater than negative 1.31. And then I could look up the keyboard how it works on that one, but we'll for sure run into that later. Or I'll do like a whole video on it. So it's true. So the key down is true, the key down is false. and then he'll jump. So what is the problem here? Problem here is that we're not incrementing this to the right variable. It should be to the global one, and he should slow down. Or he should follow. We need mini physics. So G player Y. Then you gotta look at what G player Y is initialized to, so at least he falls back down to the place he was. I have to make sure that I know that it's this. And we'll just write the physics right here. If it's greater than this, then fall down. And problem is, the update function doesn't work, so it's not going to work right. But we'll still see it in action. Alright, sorry. G player Y is equal to G player Y minus 0.01. And then run. I think this is the only thing we're going to do for today. It's just going and fixing the time part of the shader and doing the other effects. Oh, he flew out of the screen. I knew it. Crap, we gotta just restart the program. There's no way he's gonna land fast enough. Does he even land? Does this even work? Oh, crap. Alright, jumps pretty. Yep, he goes back down. So there's some mini physics. It just doesn't update right, so we have to fix that later. So yeah, there we go. We got a little control, a little jump. He's happy, he's alive. We got these buttons later to fix. This button for ducking. Looking up and stuff. Yep. So like the rest is just kind of sitting there and just like using your programming skills. Well, for people that have programmed before, but people that haven't are gonna be like, oh, now what do I do? It's like, oh, now you put this into acceleration, you put in different functions, and then you have these functions kind of do these manipulations. Because this is really spaghetti-ish. We're detecting the physics stuff right inside the update function. And the function that's prepping the draw call. Which is sometimes good. Sometimes it's not a big deal. It actually makes it better. More optimized, but really messy. Yeah. Add another player, add the enemy, draw another bitmap for the map. kind of notes for later. Alright, we've got it running. And the mouse position 2 thing, I have to take a look at why that's too big. Or too low. Well, I just want this out of the way for a second. Let's see what happens here, but actually it should be touch number 2. Yeah, I put that over there now. Good. Just like another block. So you can use 2 hands to, 2 fingers to touch it. There's also a way to screenshot. Could go like that. You really have to do it hard. I thought there was. Did it before. Oh well. Ah. It's flying back. He's coming back. Cool. Alright.